set. Okay, at 7 p.m., January 7th, 25 in City Hall, 140 Main Street. Time to call the City of Torrington Commission to order. Serving on the commission this evening are members Christine Altman, Adrian Barb, Joe Paganini, myself, Jay Bate. Also present is Nate Nardi Cyrus, Inland Wetlands Enforcement Officer and Assistant City Planner. Okay. Next is minutes for approval for the November 19th, 2024 regular meeting.
I move that we accept the minutes.
Motion, can I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. Next, old business. Applicant Jonathan Miller, location 2480 Newfield Road, assessor map 230, block 001, lot 001. Activity relocation of storm piping connected to 15-inch RCP originating across Newfield Road.
All right, so as a refresher on this one, this was an issue where there had been a failing septic system that had received a permit for a new installation, a new system in the upland review area. Before that system was constructed, the property owner routed stormwater from the street across the area that was reserved for the galleries for the leach field, making it impossible for them to do it as designed. And so they came to Inland Wetlands to get their stormwater reroute approved, as well as kind of making sure that whatever proposed system was going to be in an area that didn't conflict. So we met with them on site with Torrington Area Health. Nickerson was representing them, or is representing that application. The last I spoke to them is that they had retained Bill Colby to do the new design for that. But I haven't heard, they haven't had any kind of progress prints or anything related to that. They had asked for a couple extensions for the timeline because this application came in the fall. And their statutory deadline is for the commission to make a decision by the February meeting. So they only have until the next meeting to get everything to your satisfaction for approval. Otherwise, it's recommended denial for that application, and they have to resubmit. So anyway, they asked that we table it again in hopes that they can get everything together by the beginning of February for the next meeting.
Okay. Motion to table.
I move that we table the application for Jonathan Miller, 2480 Newfield Road, assessor map 230, block 001, lot 001 for relocation of storm piping connected to a 15-inch RCP originating across Newfield Road.
I have a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, next is new business. Applicant Galen Semprabon, East West Engineering, location 53 McDermott Street, assessor map 119, block 006, lot 012, and the activity is subdivision.
Good evening. For the record, Galen Semprabon, East West Engineering, professional engineer, senior project manager with East West, here representing the applicant and owner of the property. Basically, this property, I don't know if you recall, back in 2023, we came before the city as part of a special permit for cannabis retail operation, which is since been approved, constructed, or the building built out, and the operation is been established in the one-story masonry building on the north side of the property. The owner of the property, who purchased it in order to allow the cannabis project to go forward, would like to subdivide the property in order to basically break out the cannabis operation on one piece of property and have a second piece of property for sale. The property itself, zoned local business, is about 105,165 square feet. The lots in this zone are 10,000 square foot minimum. So the two lots will be well larger. The smaller of the two lots at 31,028 feet will contain the cannabis retail operation and 25 parking spaces. And then the remaining 74,137 square feet would be part of the second lot. The wetlands on the site is located basically in the area of the water quality basin. You can see it being highlighted. And then there's a small off-site water course just to the north of the property that goes from one culvert to another culvert. But there's a portion of it exposed on the surface. As part of the project itself, we're looking to do minimal improvements on the site. We do need to remove the one-story small brick building that's located along the frontage. That's in order to allow the subdivision to occur and have two conforming lots. Because of side setbacks and that building would preclude being able to subdivide the property if it remained. We also are proposing some small or a right turn out on the cannabis, the lot 1 along the frontage of the driveway. Okay, there we go. A right turn out, which would encompass or require installing a small island. Both of those improvements are outside of the 100-foot upland review area, the setbacks from the wetlands in the back. So they're outside of the upland review area. No work is proposed within the upland review area. Existing storm drainage would continue to discharge as it presently does to the water quality basin and then out of the property to the small water course. I'd be certainly happy to answer any questions. I gave you a very quick overview, but I didn't want to take any longer than you might need.
So this lot, this one lot I'm looking at now, you're dividing this in half? Or is this just being divided from the original where it was? Was this part of the plaza next door originally, or was this always one lot?
The property's been a separate lot for at least since the 50s, 60s,
And where's the
probably
dividing?
longer than
That's what
that.
I'm trying to figure out, where's your,
I can't see it either.
where's your
Well,
dividing
It's like
lines?
zigzagging.
Do you see my cursor here?
Yeah,
So follow, it's taking a little trip here. And you notice there's the two other dotted lines over here.
yeah.
Yeah,
Those are the setback
Oh,
lines.
okay.
So it's showing kind of it's buffering the main subdivision line, which is
Oh, okay.
right there.
All right.
Kind of cutting out the masonry building is the cannabis retail facility. So it's just cutting it out there. And then this is going to be demolished, like Galen said, because you could see it's right up against the edge here in a front yard and it's just conflicts with the setbacks.
why is it jogging like that? Why is it in that step pattern?
There's a whole number of reasons, and it's basically to comply with zoning requirements. We needed a 25-foot setback from the rear of the existing building. We wanted to encompass parking on the property for the parking for the cannabis operation on that property. And then some of the jogging has to do with encompassing enough non-impervious area to make lot 1 conform to the zoning requirements. It's a maximum of 75%. And then we needed the 80-foot frontage, so that kind of established the front of the property where we needed to subdivide from.
Okay.
So
So are you doing did you say you're doing anything to the water quality basin?
Hmm?
Are you doing anything to the water quality basin?
Not as part of this application. I mean, as part of the original, it's special permit, with the cannabis, there were certain obligations for maintenance and that.
Is that maintained?
So those would still be continued, but we aren't proposing any changes to those
They've been
requirements.
maintained, right? That water quality basin was maintained?
Yeah, they've actually done some work in it to clean it out, to reestablish the outlet. When we first came or started the project, you know, basically the pipe into the basin from the storm drainage was under muck, and that sort of thing. So there's been some maintenance activities as
Are those
part of
pipes
that.
and everything?
There are still ongoing requirements as part of the original special permit.
So for a little bit of context, Jay, this was, when this came in for special exception for planning and zoning, I processed this as an agent permit. So there was a wetland permit associated with this. And so when ultimately, if the permit is granted for the subdivision, we just have to make sure that one of the conditions is that the new property owner takes the existing agent wetlands permit is transferred to the new property owner, because their obligation under that special exception and that wetlands permit was to clean the basin. It may have been partially cleaned. Since I've been there, I haven't seen any kind of significant sort of dredging out of it or removal of material. There's trees in there. It's actually a part of a larger water course so it was a water quality basin built in a water course years and years and years ago. So, you know, it's taking water from up Red Mountain Ave, like all those roads up there, comes in through there. So, and then it discharges through this pipe, like Galen said, into this water course here that immediately goes underneath the plaza. But anyway, the long and the short of it is that, yeah, there already is a permit for cleaning that and maintaining that basin. And so that just has to get transferred as a condition of the approval for the
Okay, good.
subdivision.
Those pipes were still good? The pipe that goes into the water, it goes in or goes out of the water quality, goes into the water quality basin?
So there's a pipe that comes in where my cursor
Yeah.
is here, and then it discharges through this
Are those
24
pipes still-
RCP. But
Still intact, good?
Galen, I didn't observe them closely. I know that there were they were buried, right? The pipes in and out of the water quality basin, or at least the one in was difficult to find.
What the pipe that's coming in from across what used to be the railroad?
Right, there's the railroad pipe, and I think that's still running because there's water in there, and then there's
Yes.
the pipe
That-
coming off of draining the lot through this drainage easement area, or this pipe here, and that was the one that kind of unclear where that was, right?
Yeah, we cleaned out the outlet of that pipe.
Okay,
The pipe coming under what used to be the railroad, I mean, what isn't a substantial, that's like a 2x3 box, old
Okay.
stone box. And it seems to be in reasonable condition. But it definitely is flowing. It's got a substantial drainage area up above there.
And that other pipe, that one's intact also? The
This-
one that's up farther?
this 24,
Yeah, the one that goes into that concrete head wall area up on top.
Mhm.
Yeah, right there, that 24,
Yeah.
that one there. That's actually working?
Yes, that's actually in good shape. As part of the original subdivision, we did have a little bit of that's part of the subdivision, as part of the special exception. We did note to do some repair work on the outlet flared end was starting to push in a little bit, but it's a newer pipe, newer piece of plastic pipe, so.
Okay, good. Anything else? You really have to deal with that.
I move that we accept the application for Galen Semperbon East-West Engineering, 53 McDermott Avenue, Assessor Map 119, Block 006, Lot 012 for a subdivision. No significant activity.
I have a second.
Yeah, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Joe? Joe still here?
He is, I think he's on mute.
Okay.
Aye.
Okay. there we go. Motion carries. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for your time this evening.
Okay, next. Applicant Inland Wetlands Commission. Activity adopt new surveyed wetlands into city wetlands map. Set public hearing date.
So this is the newest, this is how we've been adopting changes to our inland wetlands map, is to just yearly take all of the digitized maps that came in from the applications over the past year and just accept them as our new map on an annual basis. So this would be effective February 4th, which is the next meeting, and would be the date for scheduling the public hearing for. I do have paper copies of this, but it is also available on the website through the agenda for this meeting, if you wanted to take a look at it. But it's just interesting to me how much they actually line up well. And you get some of these wetlands here, right? You can see where it's mapped, and it actually lines up really well with the state soil maps, at least in this area. So anyway.
So are the stuff that's outlined in red, that is all of the surveyed wetlands. It's not necessarily the new ones for this.
Correct. That's everything
Okay.
that we have in our GIS. Anytime there's an application, a modern any recent application that comes in, we make sure that goes to our GIS person to digitize. And anytime I'm reviewing any file, it's like a treasure hunt. If I get like an old map that has wetlands in it, I'll give it to him as well, just so that it's like the comprehensive sort of master map for what we have to work off of. And it's consistent with what's available online to the GIS for any, property owner, or if we're going to issue a zoning permit or anything like that. So it's all the same. And then the yellow in this is all the upland review area as well.
Okay. Did AJK's new survey make it onto this map?
No, so they're going to come with a map amendment specifically. I guess we could have just allowed them to provide it to us for this revision, but I think it's better, given the history of enforcement on that site, to just
Okay.
have it done more cleanly. And I think that they have an interest in having it be adopted as like the official map for that property going forward, so that they have clarity on that.
Yep.
But since we have it up, that property is right here. And so this area here is going to be cut back significantly with the new map.
Right.
Just because this area was clearly a mistake when they mapped it.
Okay.
Is there anything, Nate, that could affect anything that's with planning and zoning right now?
But with this map,
Yeah, with this new map, is there any immediate impact on anything that's been presented to planning and zoning?
no. So this is really more of just a statutory requirement for our commission to have a map that serves as, our primary source to where we're getting our regulatory, showing our regulatory area. So it's really more just to keep us clean and straightforward with what the areas that we're regulating based on either mapped wetlands or areas, the pink and the dark pink and the salmon color. Those are all the state map wetlands that are not field verified, but are just done through state geology maps.
Okay, so you don't anticipate any problems getting this through, do you?
No, it's just more of a, we have to to do any map amendment, we have to have a public hearing. So it just kind of allows us to, clean up all the map additions
Okay.
over the past year and make sure that they're the official record for decision making.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
What dates do we have available?
So we're gonna I think we need to set it for the February 4th.
Fourth, I would think, because that's
Meeting
when
date.
it says on the map.
Yeah.
Is that, are we gonna be here February 4th?
That's the next regularly scheduled meeting. I think you have the meeting schedule in front of you, right? Just to clarify,
I see it.
it is the 4th. Okay.
I'll make a motion that we schedule the public hearing for the Inland Wetlands Commission to adopt the newly surveyed wetlands onto city wetlands map for February 4th, 2025.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, next is the staff report, enforcement report, 3350 Winston Road.
We talked about this a little already, but they David Sherwood, who is their attorney, who was representing them at the meeting in November, where they kind of proposed or showed their preliminary mapping results. He's been in regular communication with me about them getting the map wetlands for the entire property. They had a little bit of a delay in December, but he shared proofs that the wetlands have been mapped. And so now they're just getting the surveyor to actually map and mark the number of the flags for the actual survey. So he provided me with those prints. I didn't bring them today, but if you want to look at them, that's fine. But he says that they're confident that they'll get on for the February agenda.
Good. Next is agent determinations.
262 Country Club Road. It was just a new shed in the Upland Review area. And then 222 Notting Hill Gate. Yeah, that was footing drains for a garage that discharged into the Upland Review area. So, gave both of those permits. I made a note going back to the enforcement report about 2904 Winstead Road. This is the Fergale property. So we had, there was a show cause hearing in the spring. Commission revoked the permit because he had not built it according to he piped a water course and piped more than he should have and didn't do restoration wetlands that had been shown on his map. So we've been working with him to try to get something together. Still nothing. At the last meeting, which was in November, I asked the commission to authorize me to issue citations. So I did that in early December. That ultimately brought in the property owner who, basically he's working with his consultant, his engineer, Bill Colby. And, neither of them had been very communicative with each other. So the last I heard, Dan came in because he's getting cited $100 a day for non-compliance. And then Bill Colby called me to try to set up a time to talk about what they need. So for that project, they really just need to do a complete site plan of that site. It's getting worse. Have you driven by there recently? He put up like mafia blocks to hold the giant pile of material that they're consolidating there, and it's all. I didn't see any major landslides into the wetlands, but it's all right up against the edge, and there's a small amount of material bleeding into it. So it's timely, I think, to get him in here and get that approved. Not to mention the issues with the floodway and the bridge that are from the prior enforcement action on this property.
And going way back.
Yeah. So another good example of how those citations are helpful and, kind of bringing people along.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I'm hopeful that we'll have something for the next meeting. I told him to just get something together so that he could submit. And if it's not completely done, we can try to run the clock out on the timeline, but that he needed to get something in before we were going to stop citations. So.
Okay, I guess next is adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right. Thanks, Joe. Have a great week.
Hey, thanks. Take care, all.